Guys, welcome back to How to Buy a Home in New York, the series. And today, our last and final step number 14. What do I need for closing? Let's go. We're almost there, and I'm hoping that the ride has been smooth and not bumpy, but it is real estate, so I'm going to go ahead and assume that it was bumpy. But as long as you make it to the end, you're okay. So let's dive into the 4 things you need to remember on closing day. Okay, first thing. So on the day of closing, as close to the closing as possible, we're going to go ahead and conduct our final walkthrough. Now, that just basically means we're going to go to the house one last time prior to closing, and we're just making sure that there's no damages to the home that weren't there before, there's no leaks that weren't there before, that the seller has removed everything from the house that they said they were going to. Because the last thing you want to do is close on a house and get there and it's filled with junk. So we're going to do the final walkthrough right before the closing. Second thing, so between your lender and your attorney, they're going to be letting you know what checks do you need and what forms of ID you're going to need to conduct the closing. You definitely don't want to show up missing items and have to postpone this, because trust me, it's a nightmare. The downside to that is you usually get notified last minute. Why? Because the bank has to make sure that everything they need for closing is going to line up with the checks that you bring and the attorneys, and that's going to line up. So unfortunately, you're probably going to know the day before. Ideally, if you can know 2 days prior, it's amazing. Third thing. So at least 3 days prior to closing, the bank is going to send out the closing disclosures. Now, ideally, you'll go through them, make sure that everything looks on the up and up. Again, if you have any questions, you can always chat with the lender, or you can chat with your attorney on things that you don't know. But either way, 3 days prior to closing, 3 business days prior to closing, these have to go out. If they don't go out, you cannot close. It is what it is. Thank you, New York State law. Fourth, and this is the best one, closing day. Now, all you need to do is show up at the predetermined location set by the attorneys and execute the final paperwork. This is usually pretty simple as long as there's no hiccups that just sounds obvious. As long as everything's okay, this should be easy. And if things are not okay, then this will be hard. So you get my point though. So 4th thing, closing day, you're going there, you're gonna fill out the remaining docs, and then the house is yours. So now that we basically made it through this last step, closing day is meant to be a special day. And I find that as long as there's communication between the lenders, the attorneys, buyers, sellers, and the real estate agents, this is a lot easier than if there's things left unsettled from before the closing. So just make sure everything, all the loose ends, they're tied up, everything's good to go. Enjoy this day, and congratulations once again. And I'm kind of sad because now this is the last video of the series. So yeah, I'll definitely see you guys now that you've moved to Westchester County or New York State as a whole. I'll definitely see you on some of my other videos. So don't forget, hit subscribe, ding the bell, and I shall see you in another video.